Welcome, friends, to another reading. Today, we are going to do a general energy reading. This is a timeless reading, and the message that is carried will be just as fresh today as when it was first created. Take whatever resonates, leave the rest. Thank you. We shall start the first deck. Once again, this is either the Maze deck or the Labyrinth deck. They came as a pair, as a set, and I don't know which one it is. They're both rather whimsy and fantastical. My understanding is that the Maze tarot deck is slightly more mythical, might you say. And here is our first card. We have Cerberus, a three-headed dog. I see this as a very powerful energy, perhaps a very scary energy to some. I would definitely link it to shadow work, inner work, moving through a kind of obstacle that feels perhaps impossible to move through. We notice that this three-headed dog is in the middle of the woods. So I see this energy as being part of nature. And yet it almost feels out of place. It feels as though this entity has entered these woods as a foreigner and is searching for something. If you'll notice, each dog's head is pointed in a slightly different direction. This dog's head here is pointed back, left, often known as the past. This dog is pointed straight towards the future, or right. This dog is pointed down, towards the underworld. And so what I see this entity as is I see this entity as the pull into the past, the future, and the underworld. For all attention that is placed in the past or the future can be considered underworld energy. It is not focused on the present, here and now. And that is truly what is alive. That is truly what is real. And so I see this entity as all things that divert our attention from the present moment. I see this entity as all things that bring us into the matrix, as it's called. The place where one feels lost. This animal itself feels a little lost here in this deep place in the forest. So, perhaps you may be feeling the pull of all the matrix energies on your attention right now. This is a deep message. This pull is something that is very prominent during this time, during this era that we find ourselves in. You may happen to know about the yugas. In the yugas, they say that there are whole periods of time, thousands of years, even hundreds of thousands of years, where our consciousness is uplifted, that it is a period of enlightenment. And in the great cycle of time, then there are these periods where consciousness is dimmed and in the dark about its own magnificence. And some say that we are in such a time right now. Some say that we find ourselves in what is known as the Kali Yuga. This is the lowest of the yugas. And it is a period of unconsciousness. Some may say that the Matrix is what is contributing most greatly to this unconsciousness that many in the collective find themselves in. And so I feel as though you are someone who's aware of this. You're aware that these energies are around. You're aware also of the higher states, the higher modes under which we can operate, where we are here now, where vision is unobstructed, obstacles fall away instantaneously in the present moment. And be that as it may, that doesn't mean it's easy to stay in this present moment, to ascend beyond the matrix that this three-headed dog represents. Let's get another card. For our moon message, before we enter the moon message, I just had one more thing to say about this card here. And that is that it is vitally important, but more so rejuvenating for us to maintain presence during this time, during this whole time period, during our entire lives in this world that we find ourselves in. It is essential to be a beacon of light. And I know that you know this, but it's always a good reminder to hear it again. Now, on to the moon message. What does the moon have to say about your current energies, your current aura, your current sphere of conscious manifestation and will and presence? How interesting. We got this message the other day, and here it comes again. Have faith in your dreams. Now, this is an interesting message. It's a very interesting message because I feel as though this message almost contradicts the message that we previously were looking at, of the matrix that we find ourselves in sometimes during this era of humanity. And so when we find ourselves straying from the present moment, often it means that we're headed into the matrix, that we're being pulled to the attention of this three-headed dog. But what this card is saying is, have faith in your dreams. And I almost see dreams as being something outside of the present moment. And so what I see this card saying for you is that when you do find yourself in the matrix, that the highest vibration that exists within the matrix is one of following your dreams. And so there are different levels to consciousness. The highest levels exist in the here and now. But the second highest levels, as I see it, are those where one upholds complete faith in their own dreams. That they haven't accepted some bleak outlook on life. That is going into the lower vibrations of the matrix. The highest vibrations of the matrix are where you don't withhold anything from yourself, the self that you feel that you are. You don't withhold anything from that self, anything at all. And so when you do find yourself in the matrix, have faith in your dreams. Let us now hear from the fairy folk. Quite a wily bunch, as you can see from the card back. I'm starting to feel the energies of the fairy folk a little more. This card wanted to be turned up. Haha. So, here we are. The Singer of Connection. The Singer of Connection. You, my friend, are the singer of connection. You are the bridge between the worlds, the highest worlds, and the lowest worlds. You are that bridge. You will bridge the gap that is found in the matrix that we all co-create within. You are meant to sing. You're meant to sing the connection. Now that's very interesting. You may be a musician, you may be an artist of some kind, or you may be someone who's very attuned to vibrations, even extremely subtle vibrations. And so you can think of the singing of connection as being on a vibrational level that is deeper than music into the most surface level sense. So, I see you as someone who is bridging the gap. You're bridging the gap between the lower world and the higher world. You are someone who was sent here with this mission, this purpose. You have great strength within you. We see the number 6 here. Now, that's an interesting number. 6, as I understand 6, is a number of success. In tarot, they say it is one of the first great successes after a hurdle or challenge that we face. And so perhaps you find yourself in a cycle, in a season, where you've just made it over some great hurdle, and you can feel that your energies, they're covering some good ground. You're making progress on your goals. Another way to interpret this 6 is that some say it is the number of Lucifer. We know Lucifer's number sometimes is said to be 666. And so 6, if we connect it to Lucifer, Lucifer was one of the greatest angels of all. And it was because he was so great that he fell. And so perhaps you have some link with Lucifer. In a way, we all have a link with Lucifer, for we are, in part, not only God's children, but Lucifer's children, here in this matrix that we find ourselves in. Lucifer fell from the unity of God because Lucifer was so like God, because Lucifer felt that he could create like God could create. And so, in large part, I see the great realms of existence as being the child or the children of Lucifer. And so, seeing this number on this card, the Singer of Connection, what I see that to mean is that this wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a mistake for Lucifer to fall from the throne of God and to make these many worlds of existence. Now, what we're being asked to do is we are asked to connect these worlds, unify these separate dimensions that exist, that create the matrix that we find ourselves in. And so you have this mission embedded within you. You are meant to unify. You are meant to connect on a vibrational level. And connecting this with our third card, I believe we start to get a fuller picture of the story. Part of your dream is to fulfill this mission. The reason you have been sent here is to unify consciousness on all scales, from high to low, the highest highs to the lowest lows. You see them as not being separate. You see them as being one energy, unified under the vision of God, under the vision of the great infinite spirit. Many names we could call this great, all-encompassing force. Whichever one suits you is the one that you can choose. Or you may be a person who's okay with all names for this great divine force. I feel as though you may be a person that is accepting of all different perspectives, including those about the infinite spirit. So, your dream, to unify the fields of consciousness from the angelic realms to the dark and demonic realms, all under one sky, under one great becoming. And this all occurs in the present moment and the matrix itself. Everything is happening in your favor. The road is clear for this mission to flow freely through you. All that's required of you is to have faith and accept and be. Thank you for listening. I hope that some part of this message, if not the entire message, has touched a part of you and brought some form of clarity. Blessings.